Hi, my name is John, and today I want to share something interesting with you. Have you ever found it hard to speak English on the phone? Don't worry, I've been there too. But you can learn to do it better. Let me share with you some tips that have helped me. I remember the first time I made a phone call in English. I was nervous. My heart was beating fast, and I didn't know what to say. But I learned a few tricks that made it easier. First, before you make a call, think about what you want to say. It helps to plan the conversation. One day I called my friend Emily. I was ready with what I wanted to say. It was easier because I had thought about it before. This made me feel more confident. When you know what to say, it takes away a lot of the stress. When you start the call, it's important to greet the person. You can say, "Hello, this is John. How are you?" This is a simple way to start, and it shows you are polite. Always use a friendly tone. Smiling while you speak can help make your voice sound warmer. I once read a quote that said, "Your voice is your personal signature." This is true on the phone. How you speak is how people will remember you. Speak clearly and slowly, so the other person can understand you better. Sometimes when we are nervous, we talk too fast. When I spoke to my friend Emily, I made sure to talk slowly. It helped her understand me better, and it made the conversation smoother. If you talk too fast, the person might ask you to repeat yourself. This can make the conversation longer and more confusing. One time I was on the phone with my friend Mike, and he was talking too fast. I had to keep asking him to slow down. It was hard to understand him. This is why it's always better to speak at a normal pace. You don't need to rush. Another important tip is to listen carefully. Sometimes we focus too much on what we want to say next, and we forget to listen. If you listen closely, the conversation will feel more natural. You can respond better when you know what the other person is saying. I once had a phone call with my teacher, Mrs. Williams. She told me something important: good communication is not just about talking. It's about listening too. This stuck with me, and I always remember it when I am on the phone. A good way to show that you are listening is by saying little things like, "I see," or "that makes sense." This shows the other person that you are paying attention. It also helps to keep the conversation flowing. One day I was on the phone with a customer service agent. He was very helpful because he listened to everything I said. I felt like he really cared about my problem. This is what makes a good conversation, especially on the phone. Sometimes you may not understand everything the other person is saying. Don't be afraid to ask for clarification. You can say, "Could you please repeat that?" or "I didn't quite catch that." Can you say it again? This is better than pretending to understand and getting confused later. I remember a time when I was talking to my friend Sarah. She said something that I didn't understand. Instead of guessing, I asked her to repeat it. She was happy to explain it to me, and the conversation went on smoothly. It's also important to be polite on the phone. Use words like "please" and "thank you." These small words can make a big difference. They show respect and make the other person feel valued. A polite conversation is always a better conversation. Once I had to make a business call. I made sure to say thank you every time the person helped me with something. This made the call more pleasant, and the person was more willing to assist me. Politeness goes a long way. Ending a phone call is just as important as starting one. You should always say goodbye in a nice way. You can say thank you for your time, or it was great talking to you. This leaves the other person with a good impression of you. I learned this from my friend James. He always ends his phone calls with a kind word. It makes me feel appreciated, and I've started doing the same thing. It's a small gesture, but it makes a big difference. Another tip is to practice. The more you practice talking on the phone, the better you will get. You can practice with a friend or family member. The more you do it, the more comfortable you will feel. Practice makes perfect. I used to practice with my cousin Anna. We would